10 wins and 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. It's 46 degrees at 7:40 on this Monday, October 23rd. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. The road opens up for more humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza, while the White House cautions Israel to consider the welfare of innocent civilians. Vigils and protests continue here at home on Long Island, in Manhattan, and New Jersey. Jersey's U.S. Senator Bob Menendez goes to court this morning to enter his plea to conspiracy charges. He's accused of being an agent of the Egyptian government. The city council meets today to discuss new legislation that would make e-bikes safer, just as fire breaks out at an e-bike storage facility yesterday afternoon. Hey, did you celebrate Tight Ends Day yesterday?
We the tight ends, let's get it. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it.
I'll give you one guess who starred in the NFL's Tight Ends Day video. Checking sports, Giants double up Washington 14-7. Astros and Rangers go to a Game 7 in the ALCS. Phillies can wrap up the D-backs in Game 6 of the NLCS today. AccuWeather, mostly sunny, high around 62. Nice fall day on the way. Wins News Time, 7:41. Let's get you back out to the roads. Here's Karen Stewart.
Northern suburbs, southbound New York State Thruway at exit 16. We've got an accident and all lanes are blocked. It's been blocked since about 6:24 this morning, to be exact. All lanes closed there on the New York State Thruway. You can take the Sawmill River Parkway instead as an alternate there. Things are doing well on the Sawmill Parkway. And then as you make your way down to the Major Deegan, it starts to slow down a little bit into that area. Down to the Henry Hudson Parkway, I should say. The Henry Hudson is doing well until you get close to the George, of course, and then everything goes to hell. Right now, the inbound GW bridges, we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels, is 40. It's the best one of the bunch. 45 to 50 Lincoln. 45 minutes inbound over at the Holland Tunnel. In New Jersey, we are slammed on the eastbound Newark Bay extension of the Turnpike into 14A for Bayonne. There is a line, and I'm talking a line, of tractor trailers exiting for the Bayonne Pier, and that's what's holding you up in New Jersey. Right now with mass transit, we've got the 7 trains suspended still both ways between Queensboro Plaza and 34th Street, Hudson Yards. Our next report, 7:51. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, Israeli warplanes continue to hit targets in Gaza today, while more humanitarian aid made its way into the region over the weekend.
After what the UN humanitarian chief called intense negotiations with Israel, Egypt, and Palestinian leadership, the border crossing between Egypt and Gaza opened on Saturday to let almost 40 trucks in during the weekend. The World Food Programme's Shazam Ograbi told CBS News what is needed next.
What we need is unimpeded and sustained access to get life-saving and critical supplies into Gaza. This is a good start, but a drop in the bucket.
UN agencies are hoping that the crossing remains open, and they are calling for 100 trucks a day and calling for the immediate release of hostages.
Correspondent Pamela Falk. The Biden administration's cautioning Israel to strongly consider the welfare of civilians as they prepare for a ground invasion of Gaza.
I'm learning that administration officials, they are counseling caution and the delay to this looming ground invasion in order to allow for more hostages to be released and for more aid to get into Gaza. The U.S. is encouraging Israel to protect civilians and to think through all of the possible consequences. But the White House making clear that the president is not interfering in Israeli military operations.
That's Selena Wong reporting. So how far is the U.S. willing to get involved in this conflict between Israel and Hamas? Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on NBC's Meet the Press says they are definitely worried that this war will spread.
We are concerned. In fact, we expect that there's a likelihood of escalation by Iranian proxies directed against our forces, directed against our personnel. We are taking steps to make sure that we can effectively defend our people and respond decisively if we need to.
And the fighting certainly is escalating as Israel has been clearing out towns along the border with Lebanon over what could prove to be deadly clashes with the Iran-backed Hezbollah. The two sides are already exchanging rocket fire.
If that happens, the fight against Hamas would likely become a sideshow to the intense fighting in the north, because Hezbollah has the missiles, lots of them, and they're more sophisticated. A steady stream of weapons continuously flows from Iran, and the militants boast tens of thousands of fighters battle-hardened from a decade of fighting in Syria.
That's correspondent Ian Lee. Back here at home in Glen Cove, there was a vigil last night at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center. Moji Pourmorati is the executive director of the center. She says they want to remember those who lost their lives to Hamas terrorists on October 7th and pray for the hostages.
We feel so strongly that we have to always be in solidarity with Israel. We need a place, a safe place.
Other rallies were held in and around the city, including a peaceful demonstration in Paterson, New Jersey, in support of the citizens in Gaza. Winds news time 7:45. We're at 47 degrees, headed up around 60 today. Got a nice sunny fall day on the way. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez has a court date today. Mr. Menendez expected to plead not guilty to a conspiracy charge that he allegedly acted as an agent of the Egyptian government while he was chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Prosecutors say the 69-year-old Menendez and his wife accepted bribes, including cash, gold bars, and a car from 3 New Jersey businessmen in return for his influence. Well, war in the Middle East has the FBI tracking more potential threats of terrorism in the United States. FBI Director Christopher Wray sat down for an interview with 60 Minutes, where Wray tells Scott Pelley that China may pose the biggest danger to the United States in the long run.
We probably have somewhere in the order of 2,000 active investigations that are just related to the Chinese government's effort to steal information.
Intelligence leaders from the U.S., Australia, Canada, the U.K., and New Zealand recently got together. China's espionage techniques was a large topic of conversation. New legislation today from the City Council in regards to the safety of e-bikes.
A bill proposed by Bronx Council member Oswald Feliz would require Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, and other delivery apps to make sure that every one of their workers have a safe and certified e-bike.
We've already had over 210 fires this year. We had very similar numbers last year. Everyone needs to help resolve this fire safety problem, which is putting our lives at risk every single day.
A Sunday afternoon, as firefighters arrived here at this warehouse on 63rd Street, they opened up a storage unit, 3 mopeds on fire. FDNY Assistant Chief Michael Myers saying the heat created from these bikes overwhelms even fire suppression systems.
When fire suppression systems were designed a long time ago, no one had e-bikes or e-batteries in mind. They're not designed to put out enough water to put out e-batteries or any kind of electrical fire.
Glenn Shuck 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Sunset Park.
Winds news time 7:47. It's a court date today for the man accused of assaulting 2 women in their 70s during 2 separate home burglaries.
Derek Clancy is set to face a judge today here in Suffolk County. The 42-year-old is accused of getting into 2 homes through windows in Mastic Beach, one on October 10th, the other October 17th. And physically assaulting the women inside, who are in their 70s. Both were home alone at the time. One woman was punched repeatedly in the face as she was sexually assaulted. And court papers show Clancy, who was homeless, admitted to trying to rape one of the victims. Suffolk County Legislator Jim Mazzarella tells CBS 2 News.
There's no motivation regarding burglary or anything like that. And these are just assaults on innocent victims, especially elderly women. It's actually more concerning.
The victims live around the corner from one another. Sophia Hall, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Suffolk County, Long Island.
Well, a guy with a gun thought it was a good idea to shoot at police in the Bronx yesterday. Officers showed up to a call about a man with a gun in an argument near 164th Street and Sheridan Avenue. Happened just around 3 p.m. When cops showed up, this guy started shooting away. The officers fired back. The suspect took off. Fortunately, no one was hit. Bronx resident Despanya Boa was hoping the shooter was caught quickly.
It's really scary. You know, we want a good neighborhood for our children and for everybody. So that's what we hope for. Yes.
And the good news is police do now have a suspect in custody. Well, back to a little normalcy for residents in Hawaii. Fans were all decked out in red as they packed the Lahaina Luna High School football stadium for homecoming weekend. The marching band with a little Sweet Caroline, very nice rendition. For many of the fans, coaches, and players, being back at the stadium was the closest thing to feeling at home and back to normal since the deadliest wildfire in more than 100 years devastated that town. Hey, celebrating tight ends yesterday. I'm talking about the NFL. What's wrong with you? You know, I wonder if Travis Kelce was involved. Well, we'll find out. When's news time? 7:49. We get back to the roads next.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how?